For years, gossip columns and news outlets have been predicting the Kardashians' downfall, but it always felt like a hollow prophecy. No matter the scandal, they bounced back. They managed to turn every controversy into fuel. But audiences aren't buying it anymore. The ratings are tanking, the followers are fleeing, and the headlines are no longer about their glamour, but their greed. The evidence of their fading popularity is so strong that it's hard to ignore. But one might ask, what exactly happened that triggered what many are calling an irreversible downfall they might not survive? Before 2020, the Kardashian and Jenner world seemed like business as usual, but then COVID hit. And one of the most tone-deaf Kardashian moments to ever hit the internet happened. In the middle of a deadly global pandemic, when millions were locked in their homes and struggling to make rent, Kim Kardashian decided her 40th birthday needed something extra. She rented a private island, flew out her closest friends and family, and then posted a glossy Instagram photo dump explaining that after weeks of quarantining and multiple health screens, she wanted to pretend things were normal for a brief moment in time. She even added that she was humbly reminded of her privilege, as if acknowledging it would make the whole thing okay. It didn't. The internet roasted her alive. Twitter flooded with memes, satire, and endless threads pointing out her privilege. Kim's photos showed big group gatherings, champagne toasts, dancing on beaches, and not a single mask in sight. For a family that thrives on controlling their narrative, this was one of those rare moments where the backlash completely drowned out the caption, and the captions were already screaming privilege. On March 9, 2022, Kim Kardashian sat down with Variety and offered what she called the best advice for women in business. Her words, "Get your effing ass up and work. It seems like nobody wants to work these days." The internet exploded. Fans and critics called out the hypocrisy. Coming from a woman born into money, fame, and connections, it wasn't just tone-deaf, it was insulting. Kim had access to a reality TV platform, Hollywood's top PR teams, and a family name already embedded in pop culture. She didn't claw her way to the top. She started halfway up the ladder. From Robert Kardashian's notoriety after the OJ trial, to Kris Jenner's relentless networking, to Caitlyn Jenner's Olympic fame, every door was already open before the cameras ever started rolling. The Kardashians didn't need to break into the industry. They only had to learn how to keep it running. In 2024, Disney put on a star-studded 30th anniversary performance of The Lion King. We're talking big names: Jennifer Hudson, Nathan Lane, Jeremy Irons, the kind of cast you'd expect for an iconic production at one of the most famous venues in the country. And then, there was the role of young Simba, a pivotal part in the production. Normally the kind of role that hundreds of talented child actors would audition for, pouring their hearts into the performance. Except this time, there were no auditions, no casting calls, because the role had already been given to 11-year-old North West. The performance, by most accounts, was rough. Not because North isn't talented or couldn't grow into the role one day, but because she simply wasn't prepared. Clips circulated online showing her looking lost on stage, struggling with choreography, and vocally outmatched by the professional cast surrounding her. It didn't feel like a Hollywood bowl-level performance, it felt like a family favor. This didn't seem like a coincidence. Disney owns Hulu, Hulu airs The Kardashians, and the same production company works on both projects. In other words, the whole thing looked less like a casting decision and more like a cross-promotional arrangement. For the average aspiring child actor, this was a punch to the gut. Years of training, auditions, and rejection, only to watch a coveted role handed to someone who's famous by birth, not by merit. In this day of social media, the whole act obviously did not go unnoticed. People felt put off, pointing out the privilege and nepotism. In September 2022, Kourtney Kardashian launched her vitamin and supplement brand, Lemme, which might be one of the clearest examples of turning insecurities into income. Marketed as a chic wellness brand, Lemme launched with pastel-packaged gummies promising benefits from better sleep to reduced bloating. Lemme made broad health claims without proving their effectiveness, thanks to loose supplement regulations. The marketing was flawless. Soft colors, minimalist design, celebrity glow, all selling an aesthetic of wellness regardless of the science. One of Lemme's most talked about products is the Lemme Purr Gummy, aimed at women's intimate health. It was marketed toward women who want to smell better in the intimate area. In true Kardashian fashion, it packaged insecurity as empowerment and sold it at a premium. But this time, people were already over worthless products endorsed by the Kardashians. The internet was ready to shred it apart. The gummies were mocked for being just a placebo sugar pill, and Kourtney is facing a class action lawsuit over her brand. The Kardashians have spent more than a decade shaping, and in many ways distorting, women's beauty standards. The formula was unmistakable: impossibly tiny waists, exaggerated curves, and gravity-defying proportions that almost always require surgical intervention. Yet through it all, there was never much in the way of a disclaimer. During the height of Kylie Jenner's lip kit era, cosmetic tweakments, lip fillers, waist trainers, diet shakes dominated social feeds. Many fans spent fortunes on products or even surgery, chasing an ideal that was, for most, unattainable without serious medical intervention. The result for some? Frustration, body dysmorphia, and irreversible physical changes. Fans have also noticed Kim's signature extreme hourglass has also noticeably softened in recent years, with widespread speculation that she has reduced, or even removed, some enhancements that she earlier claimed was just fat and not BBL procedure. Through it all, the sisters denied major procedures for years, only admitting to minor tweaks when the evidence was too obvious to ignore. At the 2022 Met Gala, Kim Kardashian made headlines by wearing Marilyn Monroe's iconic dress. But it wasn't just the dress that sparked outrage, it was how she fit into it. Kim openly admitted to losing 16 pounds in just 3 weeks to make it happen, a statement that drew swift backlash. Fans were already furious at the idea of her wearing a historic gown, and reports that it had been damaged only fueled the outrage. But the bigger issue was the message her crash diet sent to young girls and teens watching. The glorification of extreme weight loss for the sake of a red carpet moment reinforced the very beauty pressures the Kardashians have been accused of promoting for years. And then there's the Kardashian-Jenner love life playbook, one that's been recycled so many times it's practically its own reality TV subgenre. Pick a troubled man, endure the chaos, walk away in a storm of drama, and then circle right back like nothing happened. Fans have watched it on loop for years. Khloe Kardashian famously took Tristan Thompson back after his cheating scandals had already been dissected on social media for months. Kylie Jenner had not one but 2 children with Travis Scott, despite the constant rumors and receipts of him stepping out. Scott Disick spent years cheating on Kourtney Kardashian, yet they kept expanding their family as though the betrayals were just another storyline. On camera, they brand themselves as strong, independent women who know their worth. But off camera, and sometimes on, the message to their massive female audience is muddier. It's hard to claim empowerment when your actions say, "You can disrespect me repeatedly, and I'll still let you back in." For a fan base that grew up watching them, the mixed signals are loud, and not in a good way. Kylie Jenner also came under fire for a birthday party. On the surface, it looked like any over-the-top Kardashian celebration. Balloon tunnels, custom decor, and enough theme details to fill an Instagram reel. But this wasn't just any theme. For her 2 young children, Air and Stormy, Kylie incorporated visual nods to Astroworld, the music festival headlined by their father, Travis Scott, where 10 people were killed in a 2021 crowd surge. The party featured giant inflatable heads modeled after the kids, eerily reminiscent of the massive golden head that served as Astroworld's infamous entrance. Guests walked through the open mouths into elaborately decorated spaces, rainbow balloon arches for Stormy, a toy car display, and mock Pacific Coast Highway for Air. But for many, the resemblance to the festival was impossible to ignore. In the immediate aftermath of the Astroworld tragedy, Kylie had called herself broken and devastated, insisting she and Travis didn't know about the fatalities until after the show. Travis, too, posted an emotional video, defending himself against claims that he ignored pleas to stop performing. Both were heavily criticized at the time, Kylie in particular for posting Instagram footage that showed an ambulance trying to make its way through the crowd. Fast forward to this party, and those statements of grief felt hollow. To some, the Astroworld-inspired details weren't just tasteless, they were a blatant reminder of one of the darkest moments in her partner's career, and a tragedy that claimed real lives. For many, it was yet another example of the Kardashian-Jenner brand's uncanny ability to turn even the most sensitive subjects into aesthetic backdrops. Recently, Kim found herself dragged across social media after her brand blasted out cheerful winter sale promos at the exact same time Los Angeles County was being swallowed by catastrophic wildfires. While over 30,000 residents were packing their lives into cars and evacuating homes, Skims was posting slideshows of cozy sweatsuits and viral lounge dresses like nothing was happening. Literally hours after the first Palisades blaze lit up the hills, the official Skims Instagram posted a promo. The next day, the tone-deaf parade continued. All while much of LA looked like a dystopian movie set, fans didn't hold back in the comments. How about posting resources for what's going on in LA and what Kim and Skims are doing to help? One person wrote, "Still trying to make money from people during the horrific fires." It wasn't a great look for a brand that markets itself on being for everybody, but apparently not for everybody in crisis. The Kardashians' love affair with private jets has also become one of their most tone-deaf flexes. Weekend getaways, midweek shopping trips, cross-country lunch dates, all casually documented on social media. But while they're sipping champagne at 40,000 feet, millions of their followers are dealing with record inflation, rising rent, and the simple reality of trying to make ends meet. The public's appetite for billionaires flaunting billionaire lifestyles is wearing thin. The fans who actually liked them and grew up watching them on TV are all adults at this point. They don't react to the Kardashians in the same way they did when they were younger and had no bills to pay. The Kardashians either haven't noticed or simply don't care. When Keeping Up with the Kardashians first aired on E!, it had a team known for creating reality TV that thrived on drama, chaos, and just enough authenticity to feel relatable. Viewers saw Scott Disick shoving money into a waiter's mouth, Khloe Kardashian getting a DUI, and Caitlyn Jenner failing spectacularly as a parent to the Jenner boys. Messy, unpolished, and at times jaw-dropping, it was the kind of unscripted mayhem that made for addictive TV. Today, that rawness is gone. The family's Hulu series is now produced by Kardashian Jenner Productions, meaning they're fully in control of their own narrative. And unsurprisingly, the chaos has been replaced with careful curation. What's left is a glossy, brand-safe version of their lives that's more product placement than plot. Even longtime fans admit they're bored. The Kardashians' problems are now so steeped in privilege they're impossible to relate to. Early seasons showed a family that, while wealthy, still felt somewhat accessible. Their home looked like something you might see in an upper-middle-class neighborhood. The sisters worked at their Dash boutiques, and they hovered on the edges of Hollywood rather than ruling it. They seemed like people you might actually know. Now, they're brands first and people second. Kourtney sells wellness supplements, Kim rebrands as both lawyer and Skims mogul, Kris and Khloe juggle endorsements alongside their own product lines, and Kendall and Kylie like to keep their lives private. The family dynamic that made them relatable has been traded for corporate-level marketing. What was once reality TV now plays like a high-budget commercial driving fans away. The Kardashian-Jenners have never shied away from cozying up to power, whether it's Hollywood royalty, Silicon Valley billionaires, or the most polarizing figures in American politics. Kim's relationship with Ivanka Trump has been quietly building for years. What began with a polite chat at the 2014 Met Gala turned into something more after Kushner facilitated Kim's first White House meeting with Donald Trump in 2018. That meeting, framed around criminal justice reform, was the first public link in a chain of increasingly public social moments. By 2023, Ivanka was a guest at Kim's 43rd birthday bash, rubbing shoulders with Jeff Bezos, Lauren Sanchez, Hailey Bieber, and Kimora Lee Simmons. Soon after, Kim was at Sanchez's Paris bachelorette party, alongside Katy Perry, the kind of guest list that screams elite influence. Lauren and Kris Jenner have built their own alliance, bound by shared ambition and an instinct for high-level networking. Then there's the Musk connection. The sisters haven't declared political allegiance, but Kim has flaunted Tesla products. Khloe runs a podcast on Musk sex, and public perception has filled in the blanks. Combined with Kim's past links to Donald Trump, via Kushner, Ivanka, and her own ex-husband Kanye West, the Kardashian circle reads like a who's who of power, wealth, and influence. No matter how controversial, aligning with these names hasn't earned the Kardashians' admiration. It's only deepened the criticism. Each of these so-called power players carries baggage that the public hasn't forgotten. Ivanka Trump, born into unimaginable privilege, has long been seen as tone-deaf to the realities of ordinary people. Lauren Sanchez has been a magnet for gossip herself, with her display of wealth and plastic surgeries thought to be inspired from the Kardashians, and the endless criticism surrounding Bezos' cutthroat business practices. And then there's Elon Musk. Whether it's laughing about firing employees or sparking chaos on his own platform, his erratic behavior has left a sour taste for many. To fans, the Kardashian-Jenners' embrace of these figures doesn't look like savvy networking, it looks like survival, a way to stay tethered to power and money even if their own star is dimming. Because if the public ever turns its back completely, they'll still have billionaires and politicians propping up the lifestyle they've built, with or without their fans. In recent years, another criticism has started to take shape: the way the Kardashians treat the men in their family. Fans have pointed out what feels like a pattern. The girls are paraded front and center, while the boys are pushed to the sidelines. Everyone knows North, Stormy, and Dream, but ask the average person to name their male cousins? Silence. The most glaring example, of course, is Rob Kardashian. Once a regular on the show, he's now practically vanished from the spotlight. His absence hasn't gone unnoticed, and many viewers blame the family for sidelining him until he faded completely from public life. In our next video, we will deep dive into what Rob endured over the years, And then there's the question of how early and how heavily the Kardashian kids are pushed into the limelight. The girls especially are turned into mini celebrities before they're even old enough to understand it. In an age where parents are becoming hyper-aware of social media's impact on children, this strategy feels less like family bonding and more like brand building at the expense of childhood. For many fans, it's a line crossed, and it's not the kind of legacy they want their own kids looking up to. But fans' approval or not, the Karjenners seem to be following the generational legacy that momager Kris Jenner learned from her own mother, MJ. If you haven't seen our video on Kris Jenner and how she met and married a much older and wealthy Robert Kardashian, then check out the link in the description below. The Kardashians gave the world exactly what it wanted: scandal, luxury, and chaos on demand. Is their downfall simply a reflection of society finally losing its obsession with empty fame? Or is it the new generation of fans that is no longer afraid to hold celebrities accountable for their actions? What do you think? Let us know in the comments below. If you like this video, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button to support the channel. See you next time.